bring on Broly. You know, he's part of PBC. We already ran it once with PBC. I need to get my get back. So I'm going to beat Broly, and we're going to have that.
Ryan Garcia has been relentless in taunting Rolly Romero as their fight approaches. He has called Rolly the easiest payday of his career and publicly mocked him as a clown who doesn't belong in the same ring. During a recent interview, Ryan even joked that he'd have more trouble sparring with his trainer than handling Romero.
Is a tremendous fighter. He's a tremendous fighter. The only people he cannot be happens to be myself, Gervonta Davis, and depression. So,
In another jab, Garcia went on social media posting, "I'm bringing the broom on May 2nd sweep time," implying total domination. He didn't stop there either. Garcia went as far as to say that Romero's style is predictable and that Rolly's best shot is to pray for a miracle. Romero, not one to back down from trash talk, responded by calling Garcia all Instagram, no substance. He claimed Ryan's fame has more to do with his social media presence than his boxing skills. But even that comeback fell flat for most fans who see Garcia as leagues above Romero in talent and skill. The constant back and forth has created a powder cake atmosphere for the May 2nd bout. Oscar De La Hoya, Garcia's promoter, has fully embraced the tension, calling it the most anticipated event in boxing this year. He went as far as to say that Cinco de weekend in New York will surpass everything fans have ever seen before in the sport. De La Hoya hyped up the event as a historic throwback to the days of boxing legends, fighting in outdoor arenas in places like Yankee Stadium. The Ryan Garcia fight against Rolly is going to surpass everything you've ever heard of, anything you've ever seen, De La Hoya declared. It's going to be monumental. For casual fans, De La Hoya's excitement may sound convincing, but die-hard boxing followers are rolling their eyes. The reality is that Romero has already been knocked out twice and didn't look impressive in his last fight against Manuel James. Garcia, on the other hand, is at the peak of his career, making this matchup feel more like a mismatch than a legendary showdown. The undercard doesn't help either. Devin Haney is set to fight Jose Ramirez, who's coming off a loss to Arnold Barboza Jr. Fans are lukewarm to say the least.
He's gonna fight Rolly, accept the bout with Rolly. I give him $200,000 cash if he beat Rolly. Now once he loses to Rolly, I don't want him to ever say Tank name again.
So what's De La Hoya supposed to do? Admit that it's a one-sided card? My guy's in a crap fight against a clown of an opponent on a Suso card isn't exactly a winning sales pitch. His job is to sell tickets and promote his fighters. And that's what he's doing. To De La Hoya's credit, he's at least trying to add some prestige to the event by referencing boxing's past and hyping it up as an unmissable spectacle.
In front of you and ready to go.
I'm very feel right now. I'm very feel.
Do you feel a little disrespected? Because everybody says if he wins this fight, he's going to Haney immediately. So do you feel like you're getting a little looked over?
My daughter's on my undercard.
What weight is the fight out, bro?
47.
Still, some boxing insiders think De La Hoya is simply stirring the pot. This is a classic promoter move. One fan tweeted, "Hype the fight, talk it up like it's Ollie Frazier and hope." No one remembers that Rolly got code twice before. Interestingly, the Haney versus Ramirez matchup has drawn more curiosity than excitement. Haney's last fight ended with him taking a brutal beating, and fans are eager to see how he responds. There's a chance he could fold under pressure. Fans are already speculating that Haney may not have recovered mentally or physically from his last defeat.
I think they're definitely better sell a lot just because they both got a unique personality.
If Ramirez has anything left in the tank, he could very well end Haney's run for good. Haney's team, however, is adamant that the fighter is ready to bounce back. Oscar De La Hoya also hinted that Isaac Pitbull's Cruz could have been an opponent for Garcia, but Cruz turned down the offer because he was already committed to another fight. Maybe next time. If Ryan Garcia wins against Rolly, De La Hoya said, "We're always trying to make exciting fights." Fans were quick to point out that Cruz would have been a far better matchup for Garcia than Romero. Many believe that Turki Al-Sheikh, who is helping organize the card, should find a last-minute replacement for Romero and Ramirez to give the event more credibility.
Situation. I see that that's the most tension. Is there real beef there, or is it just you want to get ahead and you see him as a guy that you sparred a lot and you feel you should be in that position?
No, I want to chop that kid's head off.
Why?
De De La Hoya's hype machine, however, isn't slowing down. He emphasized how special the Cinco de weekend is for boxing and insisted that Garcia's fight will be extraordinary. But most fans aren't buying it. They know that Garcia will likely dominate Romero without much resistance. The fight, while potentially entertaining in a one-sided way, isn't expected to offer much suspense. And while De La Hoya is building this up as an all-time event, many are already looking past Romero and toward Garcia's next potential opponents, especially Devin Haney.
I mean, I would say Pitbull Cruz is a more difficult fighter than Ryan Garcia. Wouldn't you agree? He's much more durable. He punches. He's aggressive. Ryan Garcia would run like a turkey. Like I said.
The biggest intrigue for fans now is how Haney performs in his upcoming fight. His reputation took a huge hit after his last defeat, and many wonder if he can ever reclaim his former glory. Some believe Haney might even be mentally checked out, taking this fight just for the payday. If Ramirez manages to pull off an upset, it could end Haney's career at the top level of the sport. In the end, De La Hoya's job is clear: sell the fight, keep the hype alive, and make fans believe this is a must-watch event, whether it lives up to the billing or not. The real question is whether Haney can survive this fight, and whether Garcia will move on to more serious competition.
Do you want that rematch with Ryan Garcia? Is that something that's like, man, I gotta get that back?
He was right here. I get it back right now. Because it's just, you know, if somebody did you like that, you want to take it, because I did that already.
Either way, fans are ready for the drama to unfold. But it seems this is what is happening. Ryan Garcia's decision to reunite with Eddie Rosso has sparked a lot of buzz. And not all of it is positive. While some fans are excited about Garcia returning to the coach who guided him to one of his best performances against Luke Campbell, others see this as a chaotic move, another chapter in the never-ending story of Ryan's inability to stick with one trainer. His departure from Derek James after just 2 fights has left many wondering if Garcia's real issue isn't about trainers at all, but something.
I still think Devin Haney can beat Ryan Garcia.
Oh, yeah. I do.
Don't fight that type of style. Don't stand right in front of him.
Yeah.
Do your Devin Haney, and get out of there.
And that's what you do with rematches. You find everything you did wrong, you know it instantly.
Garcia's time with Derek James seemed promising at first. James, known for his non-nonsense training style and ability to mold elite fighters, was expected to elevate Ryan's game to the next level. Yet the partnership fizzled quickly. While Garcia did notch a victory over Oscar Duarte, and his knockout of Devin Ha was impressive, critics noted that Ryan's performances were inconsistent. Some felt he looked too dependent on his signature left hook and lacked a clear defensive strategy. Many boxing insiders have raised eyebrows at Ryan's constant switching of trainers after parting ways with Joe Goosen, who coached him through fights with Dante Davis and Javier Fortuna. Garcia jumped to Derek James, only to end up back.
Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia would be an amazing fight. You know, me and Ryan sparred way back when. You know, we sparred twice, and there's always it's gonna be. I mean, that fight will sell out. I know that fight will sell out. That's one of.
Garcia has defended the latest switch, according to him. The move back to Rosso isn't a knock on James, but more about comfort and positivity. There wasn't anything out there in Texas as far as what happened to him. Ryan last year wasn't as positive as it was here, Henry said. So why go somewhere negative when you can switch it around? This comment alone stirred controversy, as it hints that Ryan may have felt out of place in Texas. Critics have pounced on this, accusing Garcia of not wanting to be pushed too hard.
I mean, I hope he keeps training with Derek James. It was a good performance. Yeah, he won.
Yeah.
He stopped Jordan. Yeah, he was great.
Henry also added that being back in Southern California, closer to family and familiar surroundings, has put Ryan in a better mental space. While this may make sense on paper, some fans believe it's just an excuse. One Twitter user bluntly commented Ryan Garcia doesn't need another trainer. He needs discipline. Changing coaches every few fights won't fix that. Another layer of controversy comes from Garcia's potential clash with Teofimo Lopez, who recently joined Eddie Rosso's camp. Ryan and Dow are set to fight in February 2026. And while it's unlikely they'll train together, it's still a strange dynamic.
Let's be honest, man. Tank's toughest opponent by far has been me. Me and him are gonna run that back. I'm gonna get my world title May 13th, and then me and him gonna run that.
What happened? Come back to get it rolling.
Tank had him from the beginning. Like, I'm not saying about the game prior to that. I can see what's going on.
Timo is known for his competitive, almost antagonistic attitude, and fans are speculating about whether spark will fly if the two cross paths in Roso's gym. Could training under the same roof lead to mind games and added tension before their fight? Adding to the intrigue is the fact that Canelo Alvarez, Roso's most famous pupil, had a public falling out with Garcia in the past. At one point, Canelo criticized Garcia's dedication to the sport, which led to friction between the two. However, Henry Garcia claims that everything has been smoothed over Canelo and Ryan worked out everything. It was a misunderstanding. Henry said whether that's true or just PR spin is up for debate, but some fans are skeptical.
Ryan Garcia versus Teofimo Lopez at 147 makes sense. I got Teofimo Lopez. I think he beats Ryan Garcia. The way Ryan could beat him is by...
Then there's the looming fight with Rolando. Why Romero? Let's be honest, this isn't the type of fight that requires Garcia to be in top form. Raleigh has a weak chin and limited skills, making him more of a journeyman than a serious contender. Garcia could probably knock him out with his eyes closed. Critics argue that the fight is a gimme and question whether Garcia is using it as a low-stakes tune-up to test out his reunion with Roso. If you're going to switch trainers, do it for a real fight, not this clown show. One fan posted on Instagram, Garcia suspension from the New York State Athletic Commission after his knockout of Devin Haney also looms in the background while the suspension was lifted. It's clear that Garcia's can't
wait. Yeah, down the line, you'll see. It's gonna be one of the biggest fights in the history of boxing, if not the biggest fight in the history of boxing, and you'll see.
You think he's got more skills right now than Devin Haney? This Ryan Garcia?
Fuck yeah, what the hell? Ryan Garcia is like the fucking... Man, people don't realize that the motherfucker punch harder than fucking than Devin. I think he punch harder than Tank.
Regis Prograis is another voice that has stirred up a lot of talk with his recent comments about the upcoming Ryan Garcia versus Raleigh fight. While most boxing fans expect Garcia to knock Raleigh out without much trouble, Prograis isn't ruling out the possibility of Raleigh pulling off an upset. His reasoning: a sparring session between the two from back in 2018, according to Progress. That session showed enough to make the May fight at Times Square in New York unpredictable. I saw the sparring footage, Per said during a recent interview. Raleigh was beating the S out of Ryan in the gym. He's wild, and sometimes it's hard to time and fight somebody that's wild like that. PR Grace went on to say that both fighters can land big punches, making them predict Ryan can land big punches, and RY can land big punches. I would say Ryan. But it's not predictable. Raleigh could catch him with something, he explained. Despite favoring Garcia, Prograis clearly sees a path to victory for Raleigh, which caught many people by surprise. After all, Ryan Garcia is now far more experienced than he was in 2018. He was just 19 at the time of that sparring session, while Raleigh was already 22 back then. Garcia was still growing into his frame. Now at 26 years old, he's a much more polished and physically mature fighter. Some analysts believe that if Raleigh tries the same bum-rushing tactics he used during that sparring session, he'll end up flat on the canvas, courtesy of one of Garcia's deadly left hooks. Raleigh's wild style works against lower-tier opponents, but against someone like Garcia, it's just asking for trouble. One box commentator said Ryan's speed and precision will punish any reckless moves. Rye's professional record also raises eyebrows. Officially, he's 16-2 with 13 knockouts. But many fans feel that record doesn't tell the whole story. There's significant debate over his controversial wins against Ismael Barroso and Jackson Mariñez. Some believe those fights should have been scored as losses for Raleigh, which would make his true record 14-4. These perceived flaws in Raleigh's career. Al-Sheikh didn't step in to block this matchup. One critic said, if it were up to me, I'd say no way Raleigh is headlining a Times Square card. He's barely suitable for the undercard. Pierre Grace's comments didn't stop with the Garcia versus Raleigh fight, though he also shared his thoughts on the possibility of a Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney rematch. Purse said he still favors Garcia to win that fight, despite the ongoing controversy surrounding their last matchup. Ryan tested positive for Osterine after beating Haney, and some fans believe the banned substance played a big role in his victory. But Prograis isn't buying it. Yes, still happened. Progress said bluntly, he dropped him, hurt him, and dropped him 3 times. Prograis pointed out that Haney's excessive clinching made him vulnerable to Garcia's shortle hooks in their first fight. Haney's tendency to clinch dates back to his fight with Jorge Linares, where he started using holding as a defensive tactic against Garcia. Though it backfired badly, Haney's whole game now is jabbing and holding, said Prograis. Take that away from him, and he's food for almost anyone from 135 to 147.
And we know damn well he don't really want the rematch because he just claimed, I don't want no rematch. So there won't be no rematch. I beat the shit out of him. It was the easiest fucking fight I've ever had in my life. So I'm not going to fight him again. I felt like I was fighting an amateur. I made it look like...
Haney's inability to take a hard punch also came under fire. Pearce suggested that Haney's chin will always be a weakness, making him vulnerable to fighters like Garcia, who pack serious power in their shots. The conversation then shifted to Haney's upcoming fight with former WBA and WBO champion Jose Ramirez. Progro warned that this fight could be a tough one for Haney. Ramirez is known for his relentless aggression, and Haney may struggle if he can't rely on clinching to control the action. It's possible Kingery knocks him out again. But we got to see what Devin does with Ramirez. First, Prograis said in boxing, anything is possible. Interestingly, Pierre Grace pointed out that Haney's chances of getting a rematch with Garcia might not even depend on whether he beats Ramirez. According to Prograis, Turki Al-Sheikh hasn't made it a condition that Haney needs to win his fight against Ramirez to secure the October rematch. This means the rematch could happen regardless of the outcome of Haney's fight, which has sparked plenty of debate among fans. Many believe Haney is heading into dangerous territory by taking on Ramirez before potentially facing Garcia again. If Haney gets beaten badly, it could hurt his confidence and momentum heading into the rematch. But on the flip side, if he manages to defeat Ramirez in convincing fashion, it could restore some of the respect he lost after his last fight with Garcia. Grace's comments about Haney and Garcia weren't limited to just their fighting skills, though he also hinted at the mental side of the game, suggesting that Haney might need to make some significant adjustments if he wants to stand a chance in the rematch. If Haney can come out of that and win, that would really show his greatness, Prograis said, referring to the possibility of Haney overcoming his past loss and beating Garcia.